The beginning of the Roc-A-Fella empire. They dismissed Jay-Z as unpolished, too street, too much of a gamble. Label after label turned him away.
I shopped Jay-Z to every single label. Kevin Lyles, all of them. Every single label, they all said no. And he becomes one of the greatest rappers alive. So my PST is I'm never going to shop anyone or listen to anyone again. Those are the same people that are up under this that said that he was too old, rapped too fast, and dressed corny. From Kev Lyles to Warner to Def Jam, we had to do it ourselves. For me, I learned don't listen to nobody. Because if I would have listened to them, there would be no Jay-Z, because he wasn't going to do it. There would be no rapping Jay-Z if it wasn't for me, 100,000%. Because he wasn't going to do what I did to make sure he got heard. He was hustling. And he wasn't going to put a record out by himself and create a record company. He could rap, but he didn't know business. I taught him business, how to put a record out yourself, how to leverage your celebrity, put it on a product yourself.
Who taught you?
God. Harlem taught me.
What they called failure became the fire that built an empire. Before the private jets, billionaire headlines, and marriage to Beyonce, Sean Carter was just a hungry rapper from Brooklyn's Marcy Projects. He had undeniable talent, but zero industry backing. Label after label turned him down, dismissing him as unmarketable. For most people, that kind of rejection would signal the end. But for Dame Dash, it was just the beginning. Dame believed in Jay-Z's potential so deeply he reached into his own pockets, paying for studio time, music videos, and pressing CDs when no one else would. That's more than friendship, that's entrepreneurship.
So how, going right from the very beginning, you learned about the business of music because you couldn't.
Well, we were forced. Yeah, we were forced in the beginning. I wish I could say we were geniuses and said we're going to start our own company. You know, that's not what happened. You know, in the beginning, we went to every single label, and every single label shut their door on us. The genius thing that we did was we didn't give up. We didn't say because these guys. You know, we use that what do they know approach. You know, we didn't give up at that point. I think that, you know, that was the genius thing we did. We started selling our own CDs and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us. So now we had a different negotiation. You know, it wasn't the same artist label relationship. Now we retain ownership in our own company, and it was the best thing for us, you know.
When the music industry slammed doors in their faces, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burke decided to kick open their own. In the mid-90s, they founded Roc-A-Fella Records, not just another hip-hop label, but a bold statement. Naming it after John D. Roc-A-Fella, one of America's wealthiest businessmen, wasn't random. It symbolized ambition. They weren't just rappers looking for a deal, they were visionaries building an empire. Jay-Z later told MTV, "I had to put Reasonable Doubt out myself because nobody would sign me. I would press up singles and go to record stores myself, collect $100 here, $200 there. It started like that." This was ownership in its purest form. They weren't waiting for a major label's approval. They were entrepreneurs moving units hand to hand. Every CD pressed was a gamble. Every dollar spent on marketing and production came out of their own pockets. But every cent of profit belonged solely to them. And here lies the hidden lesson. Independence meant more than freedom. It meant total responsibility. Without the cushion of a major label's budget, every champagne logo, every Versace outfit, every flashing music video wasn't simply about showing off. It was strategic. It was survival. They knew they had to look like money to make money. This pressure is still something many black entrepreneurs experience today. Too often, society refuses to take us seriously unless we already appear successful. It's buying the suit before you have the office, getting the luxury car before your business is stable. For Roc-A-Fella, this meant investing heavily in their image long before profits were guaranteed. Yet their true brilliance was turning that pressure into power. They leveraged the illusion of success to attract genuine success. It worked. The streets bought in, the fans believed, and soon enough, the music industry couldn't ignore them any longer. They didn't wait for a seat at the table, they built their own. Rejection wasn't their downfall, it gave them the freedom to fully own their vision. Jay-Z and Dame Dash didn't merely start a record label, they proved Rejection can be rocket fuel. Independence always comes with risk, but it also offers true ownership. Roc-A-Fella was born from rejection, driven by resilience and powered by a profound truth. When you control your product, you control your destiny. Reasonable Doubt, the gamble that paid off. Sometimes the riskiest move isn't gambling, it's staying safe. By 1996, Roc-A-Fella faced its first real test. Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt.
Well, I'm saying, Reasonable Doubt. How'd you come up with that title, my brother?
Well, whatever you do in life, be it, interviews, radio, rap, or whatever, people gonna judge you. And it's always reasonable doubt until they can, get the product in their hand. So when I was making the album, I was just like, what'd be a better way, reasonable doubt. The album, we putting the album on trial for the whole world to judge.
They didn't have a major label behind them, no massive marketing budget, just unshakable belief, and a crucial distribution deal with Priority Records. It gave them the reach they needed while preserving their control. The album's rollout was scrappy, raw, but relentless. Tracks like Dead Presidents, Can't Knock the Hustle featuring Mary J. Blige, and Brooklyn's Finest with Biggie caught fire in the streets first. That grassroots buzz translated to sales. 43,000 copies moved in the first week alone, eventually multiplying nearly tenfold by year's end. It was a slow burn, a heavy grind, no shortcuts. Here's the kicker. Reasonable Doubt didn't go platinum until 6 years later in 2002. Most artists would have folded without that immediate validation, but Roc-A-Fella wasn't chasing fast money. They were building lasting ownership.
We gotta own shit so we can make the rules. We'll never ever make the rules if we don't own nothing. And I don't wanna start out as big as them. I just wanna own it. I just wanna try it as an owner. I wanna see it.
But
everybody makes things look so hard when they never try it. I gotta try it.
Okay. You want to own.
I gotta own. I don't know. I can't speak in any other language.
But here's the thing.
I only talk boss.
What?
Ownership meant leverage. They didn't split profits with a larger label, nor did they sacrifice their masters for quick cash. They carried the risk but owned all the rewards. This is why even their slow climb eventually placed them in a stronger position compared to artists who took upfront money in exchange for long-term rights. But independence carried another hidden cost: maintaining appearances. Dame Dash understood that in business, perception was reality. Roc-A-Fella had to look the part to be taken seriously. Dame borrowed boats, rented luxury cars, and threw extravagant parties, all to project an image of success. In many ways, it worked flawlessly. Fans believed it, the industry noticed, and the Roc-A-Fella brand quickly became bigger than the music itself. But here's the quiet truth. Every flashy music video, expensive prop, and champagne bottle was an investment that strained their finances. Here's the critical lesson, especially for Black entrepreneurs. Sometimes you have to look successful before the success arrives. It's a survival tactic in a world predisposed to doubt your worth. Yet there's an undeniable danger when maintaining the image begins eating into your profits. Ownership alone doesn't guarantee wealth. It might just guarantee stress. They sold the dream of wealth before the wealth was real. Sometimes you have to fake it to make it, but don't let the fake become your business. The public saw Jay-Z as another rapper climbing the charts. What most didn't recognize was that he was also a savvy co-owner, quietly rewriting the rules for how Black talent navigated the music industry. While other artists were trading rights for quick money, Jay-Z steadily built his leverage brick by brick. That's the game-changing takeaway for us. Reasonable Doubt wasn't just an album, it was a strategic business plan packaged in music. It proved that slow, deliberate growth through ownership always beats quick cash tied to debt. For a community frequently pressured to accept what's offered rather than build independently, Roc-A-Fella's gamble demonstrated that betting on yourself isn't arrogance, it's a calculated strategy. When Reasonable Doubt finally reached platinum status, it wasn't just validation for Jay-Z's artistry. It confirmed that independence, patience, and ownership could indeed pay off. Yet the same hunger and drive that elevated Roc-A-Fella would soon ignite internal conflict strong enough to tear the empire apart. Price of fame. It's easy to look rich. The hard part is staying rich. By the late 90s, Roc-A-Fella was no longer an indie label scraping by. It had become a powerhouse. Jay-Z's albums went platinum back to back. Dame Dash had built a fierce reputation as the loud, unapologetic CEO who confronted any executive who disrespected Roc-A-Fella. Champagne flowed freely, cars were foreign, clothes were designer. On the surface, Roc-A-Fella was the definition of wealth. But beneath all the flash was a hidden truth. All that glamour came with a hefty price tag. The very image that made Roc-A-Fella so attractive also drained its bank accounts. Before they even had a major deal, Dame once spent $16,000 on a single video for Jay-Z's In My Lifetime. He borrowed yachts, rented luxury vehicles, and threw extravagant parties, not just for fun, but to convince the world Roc-A-Fella was already living the billionaire lifestyle. Smart branding, undoubtedly, but branding isn't cheap. For a young company, every dollar spent looking rich was a dollar not reinvested in actually staying rich. Here's where the math gets real. Overhead, the ongoing cost of running the business. Think rent, staff salaries, music videos, travel, luxury accommodations. Roc-A-Fella's overhead was enormous. Imagine touring with 30 people, booking luxury hotels and keeping champagne flowing in every VIP section. Jay-Z's music carried all this weight. From 1996 to 2003, he released 9 albums, each going platinum. But let's face reality. Roc-A-Fella wasn't a true dynasty. It was Jay-Z single-handedly holding the empire together. His sales funded the label's expansion, music videos, a lavish lifestyle. That's like one paycheck supporting an entire family of 5. It might work temporarily, but it's not sustainable. This reveals a critical lesson. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is the money moving in and out of a business. Roc-A-Fella had plenty of money moving in, but just as much flowing out. So even when they appeared wealthy, financial stress was always lurking beneath the surface. They had Bentleys in the driveway, but leaks in the bank account. Looking rich and being rich are two very different hustles. Fans saw Cristal bottles and platinum chains, but missed the reality behind the scenes. The steep cost to sustain the illusion. Jay-Z saw it clearly and started pushing for financial discipline, structure, and sustainability. Dame Dash, however, doubled down on expansion, signing new artists, investing in films, clothing lines. For Dame, looking like a dynasty was the path to becoming one. Yet this difference wasn't just about personalities, it was fundamentally financial. Jay-Z was thinking strategically, reduce overhead, reinvest profits, build slowly. Dame Dash was chasing rapid growth, spend more, expand quickly, create momentum. This is a common struggle for many Black entrepreneurs. The immense pressure to appear successful before achieving true financial stability. Society rarely takes you seriously until you look wealthy. But giving into this pressure often means losing the very money needed to build real wealth. Roc-A-Fella's image of unstoppable success was both their greatest strength and their Achilles heel. The brand convinced people to believe, but belief came at a steep price. As the luxury cars became flashier and entourages larger, Jay-Z and Dame Dash faced an essential question. Should you spend to look rich or save to actually stay rich?
I'm never gonna have money because I have big dreams. So if I make 20 million tomorrow, 20 million goes right back in the street the next day. You see how I get down, big face? Yeah. I don't save no money. So I almost prefer having no money in the bank, but having work on the street. It just has to work. You know, I depend on how high my drugs get you.
Then my friend can't. Ron, the producer, Dame works for me, can't stand that. He said he likes to save his money. He said, I love Dame, but how he don't save no money? That's don't make no sense to me.
How can I save money? I'm dreaming.
You got to put something.
I have to flip. I flip money. I don't save money.
Division decisions. One built his power by yelling in the boardroom. The other built his power by never showing up at all. Inside Roc-A-Fella, two distinct leadership styles were colliding head-on. Dame Dash was the loud, relentless general, always present in the office, always accessible to the artists, and always ready to confront any executive who dared disrespect the Roc. To the artists, Dame's fierce loyalty felt like family. To the corporate world, it looked like chaos. Jay-Z, however, played a different game. Video producer Choke No Joke, who worked at Roc-A-Fella, once revealed Jay didn't even step foot into the office for 4 years. While Dame was rallying the troops and building an army on the ground, Jay stayed above the fray, quietly focused on music, strategy, and making crucial relationships with the very executives Dame openly confronted. From the outside, Roc-A-Fella appeared unified. Behind the scenes, however, these two visions were in direct conflict. Dame's was loud, aggressive, and visible. Jay's was quiet, strategic, and calculated. The cost of these contrasting philosophies became clear over time. Dame's style resonated strongly in the streets. He fiercely protected artists like Beanie Sigel, Cameron, and the entire State Property crew, ensuring they felt secure. But in the corporate world, his fiery confrontations often burned bridges that Roc-A-Fella needed for growth. Jay saw things differently. He recognized that in an industry where contracts and catalog rights outweighed personal egos, quiet influence was often stronger than loud defiance. He wasn't just running a label, he was carefully studying the business to eventually own it. The hidden lesson here is critical. In business, how you move can be just as important as what moves you make. Dame's aggressive approach earned immediate respect, but scared away potential investors and business partners. Jay's patience may have seemed passive initially, but it positioned him perfectly for massive deals down the line. Dame made noise. Jay made moves. In business, the loudest voice isn't always the one cashing the biggest checks. This conflict wasn't merely personal. It mirrored a broader struggle in Black entrepreneurship. Too often, we're forced to choose between two extremes. Do you loudly demand respect, making sure you're never ignored? Or do you quietly navigate systems designed to exclude you? Dame Dash symbolized the fight for immediate respect in a world accustomed to dismissing Black entrepreneurs. Jay-Z represented the patient, strategic long game, understanding that silence could purchase longevity. Neither approach was inherently wrong, yet their inability to balance these methods ultimately fractured the empire they'd built. Initially, Dame's flamboyance and Jay's calculated cool complemented each other perfectly. But by the early 2000s, these differences became contradictions. Dame wanted Roc-A-Fella to be loud, visible, and unapologetic, a dynasty impossible to overlook. Jay envisioned it as strategic, sustainable, and corporate-friendly. The larger Roc-A-Fella grew, the more critical these differences became. Because when millions of dollars are at stake, leadership isn't just about personality, it's about survival. Thus, Roc-A-Fella, once a brotherhood forged from rejection and resilience, now faced an internal struggle. Their greatest challenge was no longer battling labels or fighting for respect from the streets. It was battling themselves. Two powerful leads, two powerful visions, but only one direction for the empire. Betrayal behind doors. What do you call it when your business partner makes billion-dollar decisions and doesn't even tell you? By the early 2000s, Roc-A-Fella was at the peak of hip-hop dominance. Jay-Z was the genre's biggest superstar, and Dame Dash was his loudest CEO. But behind the platinum plaques and flashing diamond signs, a darker reality was unfolding. The first major crack appeared in 2002. While Jay-Z vacationed in the Mediterranean, Dame Dash made a shocking decision without consulting him. He appointed Cameron, his Harlem neighbor and protege, as vice president of Roc-A-Fella Records. Not only Cameron, but Beanie Sigel of State Property was also named VP. The issue? Jay-Z was blindsided. He later diplomatically labeled the announcement a little premature. In other words, unauthorized and unapproved.
What was the vibe when he said, yo, I announced it, J. Cho, I think I'm gonna make Cam the president of Roc-A-Fella.
That's where the hate came.
That's where it went left.
That's what I'm like, what? What the fuck? What just happened? Like I fuck with homie, he's doing his thing, but the president of Roc-A-Fella? Are you kidding me? Yeah, that was it right there, bro.
That's where the whole shit kind of went left from y'all side.
It wasn't just a one-off mistake. It was the beginning of deeper power struggles. Jay-Z was also making moves, quietly building relationships with Def Jam executives. The same executives Dame constantly battled. Tensions finally exploded when Dame Dash stormed into a Def Jam meeting discussing Jay-Z's retirement project, the Black Album, and realized he hadn't even been invited.
I don't understand that. Y'all don't, Jay's not on Def Jam, Jay's on Roc-A-Fella. Y'all not better than me. Y'all trying to make, I don't understand that. I want somebody to explain it to me. I ain't get no calls about nothing. And I'm not even trying to, y'all gonna pull this shit. Y'all know what we going through when we're bigs and all that. Y'all gonna fuck around like this?
Honestly, we did know about the big thing.
I know y'all know about it. Y'all went to the fucking wake. I want to know. I seen all of y'all yesterday. Why nobody told me about a marketing plan about Jay-Z? This is not your fucking artist. Y'all don't do nothing for Jay-Z without me. What the fuck? That's why y'all trying to make this like, oh, that's also, y'all the ones promoting me and him got a beef too? Because we don't. How y'all got a meeting about Jay without me? How y'all make any decisions about Jay without me? Huh, John?
Damon, how you gonna have a problem with me?
Because I'm asking you because you here on Jay's behalf. I bet you Jay don't know I wasn't invited. I bet you that. An email, now we discuss things through emails. Y'all giggling and shit with my artist. He's not a Def Jam artist. He's a Roc-A-Fella artist. And y'all not, nobody in this room better than anybody in my staff. So how y'all having to meet y'all make any decisions about Jay without my authority? That's what I don't understand. That's what I don't get. What's up? Hey. All of these people. Who are all these people? How y'all talking about my artist career without me? What the fuck you laughing at?
I'm laughing at someone told me we're having a small meeting.
All right, well then that's what I want to know.
It was really just...
All right, so then I want to know who called the meeting. Who called the meeting about Jay with all these nice people without me?
John came to me this week.
All right then, how do y'all call a meeting about Jay-Z without Roc-A-Fella? There ain't even nobody from Roc-A-Fella in here. It's more Def Jam in here. How y'all have a meeting about Jay without Darren or Gerard or Damon Dash or anybody else?
Gerard, you invited to this?
Yeah, through a fucking email. Don't play no games, man. Y'all don't have no meetings about any one of my artists without me knowing about it. And giving me and calling me direct, like y'all calling me about everything else and saying, yo, do you want to be at this meeting or you don't? None of y'all better than me. None of y'all.
Damon.
Well, that's what...
So let me ask you a question. Do you want to continue the meeting?
Yeah, let's continue the meeting, but I'm asking for some answers. Let's get some protocol. Y'all don't do that shit for no other artist. Y'all think y'all gonna come and get my biggest artist and fucking control his last album? Y'all, you think I trust y'all with his fucking shit? I don't trust y'all with nothing. Without no representation from my crew here? Who? Gerard came with me. He's the one that let me know, like, yo, I just got an email. He just let me know. Y'all don't confirm nothing without me. It should be confirmed. I confirmed that meeting. Y'all having a marketing meeting about this. No one spoke to Damon Dash. It ain't about Gerard. Yeah, it's a good thing he did call me.
at 11 o'clock after I just came from one of my best friend's wake via fucking email. Like I'm checking my email at this time in my life. Y'all know what the fuck I'm going through?
That's what we felt.
Right, so then you don't have no means about Jay without Roc-A-Fella staff.
We know now. We know.
Y'all didn't know that before? Now we continue with the meeting. I don't understand that.
Because we felt we were going to have a small meeting.
Why do y'all listen? Jay's not your artist.
Okay.
It's not for you to call him mean. He's my artist. Okay. He's his artist. Okay. He's down with Roc-A-Fella. Y'all don't make no. I don't know if I want her to do publicity. Y'all already chose a fucking product manager. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I trust that. Y'all don't make all these decisions. Y'all bring them to me, and then I'll go tell Jay. Because Jay hasn't been in the office in 2 years. So he don't know what the fuck is going on.
So should we make it a smaller meeting?
No, you wanted it a big, and why should it be smaller? Because my staff is here?
No, I'm saying obviously.
What you mean? Issues. How do you invite my staff to one of my artist meetings? We invite you.
I thought we'd do this together, Dan.
Exactly.
Nobody left you out.
What you mean no one left me out? Y'all did not call me. Don't send out like clearly. Do not send me no email. Call me. I'm not even talking to you. You should shut the fuck up anyway.
That infamous viral clip of Dame furiously confronting Def Jam execs wasn't just ego. It was betrayal caught on camera. Hidden within this drama lies a crucial business lesson. Partnerships live or die based on trust. When one partner starts making unilateral moves like secret meetings or sudden executive appointments, it's no longer cooperation. It's conflict disguised as business. Cameron got a promotion. Jay-Z got a notification after the fact. The Roc wasn't crumbling from the outside, it was cracking from the inside. For Black entrepreneurs, Roc-A-Fella's breakdown reflects a deeper issue: the challenge of scaling business without fracturing unity. Within communities starved for resources, partnerships often provide the only real path to substantial growth. But once communication breaks down, those same partnerships collapse faster than they were built. Dame's style loudly proclaimed, "I'll fight for you in the boardroom." Jay's style quietly insisted, "I'll outsmart the boardroom."
Just CEO. Just as far as CEO.
As far as CEO?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a multiple choice.
Okay.
Just as far as CEO. No other, not rapper,
Okay.
not other friends or whatever. Dame or Jay-Z. Shot?
Just CEO?
Just CEO.
Can I like take shit away from shit?
Okay, you can break it down. You want to break it down? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
You can break it down. We're like your breakdown. Okay.
I'm gonna have to take a shot on this.
Okay, cool.
I know I'm,
yeah, that's the easiest one. That's the easiest one.
No, because
no, but I want to hear the breakdown.
I would love the breakdown as well. I'm gonna take a shot with you, man.
I'm gonna say Jay. The way he move is just, if I could take it, Jay is super smooth. Like he's super smooth with. They like night and day.
But Dash, because I feel like there's a butt coming.
I take Dame for his tenacity.
Like a fighter.
Yeah. Dame is an LCO. Like Dame, if he believe in something, he go hard.
Right.
Super hard. And 9 times out of 10, Dame be right. But his delivery be fucked up sometimes.
Yes, I agree.
But he's a super genius. So in my perfect world, I would take both of them, but I would if Dame had Jay demeanor and his savviness, Dame would be the illest nigga on the planet.
Instead of merging their strategies, their differences became opposing factions. Roc-A-Fella ceased being a family and became 2 divided camps under one brand. This scenario isn't unique. It happens in Black-owned businesses daily. One partner pushes aggressively for rapid growth, while the other carefully protects stability. Without open trust, these different approaches feel like betrayals. Dreams quickly transform into court battles. Fans saw hit albums and celebrity status, but missed the hidden contracts, negotiations, and internal power struggles. Def Jam's proposal to make Jay-Z president was already unfolding, even as Dame publicly promised internal loyalty. Privately, Dame was reshaping the company without Jay's consent, appointing trusted artists to executive roles. Both felt betrayed, and both were right. Dame believed fiercely in protecting Roc-A-Fella's independent spirit by empowering artists he trusted. Jay saw alignment with corporate giants as essential to Roc-A-Fella's long-term survival and global expansion. But betrayal isn't always about dollars. It's often about respect, and when respect disappears, no contract can restore it. Ultimately, Roc-A-Fella wasn't torn apart by external threats. It was fractured from within by the men who built it. Cameron's sudden promotion, Jay-Z's discreet meetings, Dame's fiery outbursts. They weren't just strategic choices. They were breaches of trust. And when trust was shattered, the Roc dynasty simply couldn't survive. Loyalty price fallout. What happens when loyalty costs more than it pays? If Jay-Z was Roc-A-Fella's superstar and Dame Dash his fiery general, the Beanie Sigel was undeniably a street soldier. Straight from the rugged streets of Philadelphia, Beanie gave Roc-A-Fella genuine street credibility. He didn't come alone. His crew, State Property, joined the movement. Freeway, Petey Crack, Young Chris, Neef, Oshino, and Sparks. Together they gave Roc-A-Fella the raw edge it needed, beyond Jay-Z's smooth rhymes and high-end lifestyle branding. Beanie was more than just an artist. He was Roc-A-Fella's street ambassador, the muscle behind his image. Dame Dash treated him like family, placing him front and center in every business move. But being so close to the money also meant standing close to potential drama. By the mid-2000s, cracks began to show. When Roc-A-Fella eventually split, Beanie initially sided with Dame. Dame even helped release Beanie's album, The B, coming under the Dame Dash Music Group. But when Beanie returned home, he discovered something that shattered his loyalty.
Like, I remember a time, right? Beans had his clothing line, State Property. Mm-hmm. We used to get clothes, boxes of State Property. So I'd look in State Property and say, manufactured by Roc-A-Fella. So I'm telling him as a brother, yo, bro, check your contracts and all that, make sure everything right. Like, cause I see it's manufactured by Roc-A-Fella. I don't think Roc-A-Fella was making their own clothes. So how they making your clothes? Like, just as a businessman, this was like, didn't seem right. And this was at the time when he was saying, yo, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna sign Freeway and the Young Guns to Roc-A-Fella. When I come home, they gonna give them back the State Property. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, you think business work like this? So I'm trying to tell him these things. Like, he looked at me. This was when I knew me and Beans the relationship wasn't the same. Cause he was like, yo, it sound like you hating on me, fam. And I'm like, what you mean? He like, yo, if Jay your man, like you say, why you ain't got no record label? Why you ain't got no clothing line? Dang, my man, he taking care of me, all this. And I'm like, I feel you, but you know why I don't have those things? Because my bro would never exploit my ideas for him to make a bag.
Damn.
That's what you need to realize. They're taking your ideas. And then when he came home from jail, what he said? Dame owe me $2 million.
In a revealing 2010 interview, Beanie claimed his lawyer discovered Dame Dash allegedly mishandled roughly $11 million of his money. Beanie stated he had paperwork proving Dame owed him, yet by then, Dame had already filed for bankruptcy. To Beanie, this wasn't just financial mismanagement, it was outright betrayal. He famously declared, I ain't loyal to Dame. For an artist whose entire reputation was built on loyalty, that statement echoed like a gunshot. The man who once saw Roc-A-Fella's family now felt cheated by his own CEO. Beanie gave the Roc his loyalty, but the receipts told another story. Family in business is only family until the paperwork says otherwise. This story holds a crucial lesson for our community. Too often we blur lines between business and brotherhood, calling our business partners family and believing loyalty is stronger than contracts. Beanie's fallout highlights the painful truth. Without clear contracts and accountability, loyalty can become a weapon, one easily misused. Beanie wasn't just another rapper. He was putting his freedom, reputation, and even his life on the line for Roc-A-Fella. But when financial trust was broken, loyalty alone couldn't prevent disaster. This scenario repeats itself in Black entrepreneurship. Trust without accountability. We often dodge tough money conversations to preserve relationships. Yet it's these conversations that actually protect relationships. Proper paperwork doesn't signify mistrust, it safeguards partnership. Fans saw state property as Roc-A-Fella's unbreakable army, but internally they were pawns in a chess game between Dame and Jay-Z. When Roc-A-Fella split, so did state property. Beanie aligned with Dame, while the rest of his crew stayed with Jay-Z on Def Jam's Roc-A-Fella. Imagine that internal tension. Beanie watching his own crew perform alongside Jay, while his own music remained tied to Dame. It was brother against brother, loyalty versus contracts. Fans never saw these backstage battles, the unpaid bills, or shifting allegiances that caused them. This wasn't simply about hot mixtapes or street cred, it was about survival. Ultimately, loyalty couldn't compete with legal paperwork. Beanie Sigel and state property proved one undeniable truth. Loyalty in business comes with a price tag. Without contracts, you end up paying dearly. For Roc-A-Fella, losing Beanie wasn't just about losing an artist. It marked the loss of trust itself. And once trust was broken, the Roc-A-Fella dynasty was already crumbling. Fighting Master's legacy. The biggest fight in hip-hop wasn't over money, it was over memory. When Roc-A-Fella Records collapsed in the mid-2000s, the breakup wasn't just emotional, it was deeply financial. Splitting the empire was like dividing property in a bitter divorce. The most valuable asset wasn't the clothing line, the brand, or even the office buildings. It was the music. Specifically, Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt. Jay-Z openly stated he sought to keep the masters to Reasonable Doubt. He didn't want all the masters, nor the entire catalog's cash flow, just the one album symbolizing his foundation, his beginning. But Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke didn't agree. To them, Reasonable Doubt represented more than Jay's personal legacy. It was a collective investment, something all three had hustled for, sacrificed for, and built together.
And you're still a one-third owner of Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
Now, I heard at one point Jay wanted to buy out you and Dame.
Yeah. Dame came back and mentioned it. I was like, I'm never letting go Reasonable Doubt.
You're never going to sell it?
No.
Why is that?
I mean, that's something I hold dear to my heart. So it's not even about the money. It's about the thing that put me in a different space. And, you know, as I keep talking about all the things, the relationships that got built, the businesses that got built, the frame of mind that came from that, the lifestyle I was living, is something that I wanted to be a part of for the rest of my life, and I'll probably just pass that down to my son.
Now, when Jay became president of Def Jam, they gave him his entire catalog.
Uh-huh.
Now,
I'm not sure if they gave it to him. I'm not sure how it worked. But
did they give him his masters when he became president of Def Jam? Wasn't that part of the deal?
I'm not really sure about that.
Okay, all right, maybe I'm wrong. I heard it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that the Reasonable Doubt master was the only one that he didn't own outright.
Yeah,
Any
that's
idea?
true. But I'm just saying I don't know how the deal was.
Their disagreement left Jay-Z facing a critical choice. Either walk away from Reasonable Doubt or engage in a prolonged legal battle. Ultimately, Jay chose to walk away. Here's why this dispute mattered. Masters are the original recordings of songs or albums. Owning the masters means controlling how the music is licensed, streamed, or used commercially, in commercials, movies, or samples. Masters represent long-term generational wealth. While many artists trade away their masters early for quick advances, Jay understood a deeper principle. Owning masters isn't about immediate riches, it's about building lasting wealth, legacy. Jay explained his perspective clearly. Reasonable Doubt doesn't sell much now, maybe 100,000 a year, but it means everything to me. It's my baby. This disagreement wasn't about immediate profit. It was legacy versus partnership. For Jay-Z, the masters represented something deeply personal. For Dame and Biggs, the masters were a shared financial asset belonging equally to everyone involved. Jay-Z wasn't just fighting for profit, he was fighting for proof of ownership. Money fades, but masters last forever. This fight holds a critical lesson for Black entrepreneurs. Far too often, our community faces pressure to trade ownership for survival, selling shares too quickly, or relinquishing control for immediate cash. Society often conditions us to cash out quickly rather than hold on strategically. Jay Stans demonstrated another possibility. The smartest decision isn't always the most immediately profitable. It can be the most principled. Intellectual property, music, patents, trademarks is precisely what creates true generational wealth. That's why record labels, publishers, and corporations battle fiercely over these rights. But Dame Dash and Biggs weren't entirely wrong either. Roc-A-Fella was built collectively. Why should Jay alone walk away with his crown jewel? Partnerships come with a harsh reality. What feels personal to one partner might appear purely financial to another. Headlines simplify the dispute as a clash of egos, but in reality, it reflected deeper philosophical differences. For Dame and Biggs, wealth meant cash flow and shared profits. For Jay, wealth meant legacy, the enduring proof he owned something eternal. Jay leveraged his Def Jam tenure and later deals so his master recordings reverted to him beginning in 2014. However, he still doesn't currently own the rights to Reasonable Doubt. These rights remain with Roc-A-Fella Records, but legal filings indicate they will revert to Jay-Z in 2031. Exactly 30 years after the album's initial release in 1996. Jay has used these principles of ownership and legacy to build billions through Roc Nation. The Reasonable Doubt disagreement wasn't just about one album. It became the blueprint guiding Jay's future business decisions. The fall of Roc-A-Fella wasn't merely about lost friendships. It carried an essential business lesson. Control your masters, control your future. Jay chose principle over immediate gain, legacy over short-term partnership. That decision didn't just build his wealth, it made him untouchable. Def Jam partner predator. Sometimes the deal that saves you is the same deal that buries you. By 2004, Roc-A-Fella Records wasn't just a music label, it was an empire in transition. Rockaware was bringing in millions. Kanye West had reignited the brand with The College Dropout, and Jay-Z's Black Album had positioned itself as his iconic retirement masterpiece. That year, industry giant Def Jam, already owning 50% of Roc-A-Fella, bought the remaining half for a reported $10 million. On paper, it appeared as a clear victory, growing the value of their stake from the initial $1.5 million back in 1997 to $10 million in 7 years. But behind the big payday, invisible price. When you sell full ownership, you sell your control. The sale brought another twist. Def Jam offered Jay-Z the presidency of the entire label, a powerful position that came with prestige, influence, and new responsibilities. For Jay, this was always the end game. With presidency, he wasn't just managing Roc-A-Fella, he had control over numerous artists' careers. But Dame Dash felt betrayed. Just months earlier, he confidently told MTV, "Roc-A-Fella for life. I'd never pass the torch or leave my artists. Who else could run Roc-A-Fella but me?" Suddenly, the company was owned by Def Jam, and Jay-Z was at the helm. Dame viewed this as a betrayal and selling out. Jay viewed it as strategic advancement. The lesson here is clear. Business deals boil down to leverage. In 1997, Roc-A-Fella needed Def Jam's distribution and resources. By 2004, the roles had shifted. Def Jam needed Jay-Z more than he needed them, and Jay knew his worth. He negotiated beyond money, securing leadership and eventually regaining ownership of his masters. Dame Dash, however, had burned too many bridges. His loud defiance, which initially fueled Roc-A-Fella's swagger, ultimately limited his options at the negotiations table.
This is the thing with the problem with Jay and Dame, right? Dame wants to take the money that they make and flip it so they can stay independent.
Correct.
Jay-Z wants to take, nah, nigga, I ain't spending my money. Let's get their money. And let's do a deal with them and you know, let's keep their money. Right. And that's the difference between the two. Dame don't want to with these people. You know what I'm saying? He want to be able to do it when he want to do it, when he want to do it. He don't want to have to ask them for nothing. Right. He learned that from dealing with the Weinsteins, Lionsgate. Right. You know what I'm saying? They got control over the stuff because they gave him a check. We don't need their check no more. Jay, let's flip our money. Jay don't want to flip his money. He wants to be stuck to the corporations. He wants to show up for Tom Brady and get a check. He don't want to go throw his own festival. You get what I'm saying?
This underscores a crucial lesson for Black entrepreneurs. Strategy often wins over emotion. Leverage isn't about who shouts loudest, it's about who holds the most cards. Def Jam didn't buy Roc-A-Fella, they bought control. In business, leverage isn't who yells the loudest, it's who has the most options. This situation speaks to a broader truth in Black entrepreneurship. Often, our greatest achievements occur when we sell what we've built. Whether it's a clothing line, a record label, startup, we celebrate the payday while mourning the lost ownership. Def Jam wasn't simply a partner, it was a corporate predator disguised in a suit. This isn't person, it's the business model. Major companies wait for independent brands to prove their value, then acquire them. The founders profit, but the community loses legacy. Jay-Z understood this and flipped the script. He leveraged the Def Jam president, navigated corporate waters skillfully, and later reclaimed his rights. Dame, unwilling to play the corporate game, found himself sidelined. Both paths offer crucial lessons. Ownership becomes fragile when your partner holds all the leverage. Fans saw Roc-A-Fella split as a battle of egos, but beneath it all was a power struggle. Jay-Z embraced the Def Jam deal as his chance to shape the future, even if it meant leaving parts of his past behind. Dame Dash saw the deal as losing independence, a final confirmation that Roc-A-Fella was no longer theirs. Neither was inherently wrong, but history rewards those who master leverage. When the dust settled, Jay-Z emerged with masters, executive power, and eventually built Roc Nation. Dame walked away known for loyalty, but with little leverage. Ultimately, Def Jam shifted from partner to predator, not out of malice, but because business always seeks leverage. Roc-A-Fella's end reveals a critical lesson for every entrepreneur. If you don't control the terms of your deal, the deal will inevitably control you. Brothers to rivals. They started as brothers, they ended as business rivals, and the world picked a winner. By 2005, Roc-A-Fella Records as we once knew it was finished. Def Jam fully owned the label. Jay-Z had taken the presidency, and Dame Dash had been bought out, stripped of the very empire he helped build. Kareem Biggsburg quietly stepped into the background. Jay-Z didn't slow down. He launched Roc Nation in 2008, sealed a massive $150 million partnership with Live Nation, and steadily transitioned from rapper to billionaire mogul. Dame Dash, meanwhile, tried to rebuild with the Dame Dash Music Group. He briefly rallied Cameron and the Diplomats, but without Jay's star power and corporate leverage, the new venture never reclaimed the heights of the original Roc. What had once been a dynasty now became a bitter rivalry, changing the culture's view of Roc-A-Fella forever. Dame Dash doubled down on loyalty. He insisted he never would have sold out, abandoned artists, or turned the label over to corporate giants. Dame aimed to be remembered as the CEO who stayed true to his people no matter the cost. Jay-Z took the opposite approach. He aligned himself strategically with corporate partners, stayed quietly disciplined in public, and built his empire through calculated leverage rather than emotional declarations. What Dame viewed as betrayal, Jay considered a smart strategy. This offers an important lesson. In business, loyalty is priceless, but leverage is what truly pays the bills. Dame's loyalty made him a cultural hero, but it didn't maintain his wealth. Jay's strategy earned him billions, though it cost him friendships and community trust along the way. Dame chased loyalty, Jay chased leverage. History rewarded one more than the other. Brotherhood built the Roc. but business tore it down. This tension represents the painful reality of Black entrepreneurship. Far too often our business partnerships fracture under pressure. The very system designed to exclude us often turns us against each other once we're inside. Roc-A-Fella's breakup wasn't simply about Jay and Dame. It illustrated how fragile unity can become when money, power, and corporate influences intervene. Dame's relentless fight for independence reflects many Black entrepreneurs who refuse to compromise their principles, but sometimes lose everything. Jay's corporate success illustrates another route, leveraging the system from within, even if it means leaving others behind. Both paths come with significant costs. Ultimately, the bigger question emerges. How do we create structures where success doesn't mean destroying our bonds? Fans saw Jay-Z as the winner and Dame Dash as the loser, but the truth is nuanced. Jay proved that strategic partnerships and patience can generate lasting generational wealth. Dame showed the strength of integrity and independence, but also how quickly it fades without financial backing and corporate leverage. Ironically, Roc-A-Fella's power was greatest when these two approaches worked together. Jay's quiet strategy perfectly balanced Dame's bold defiance. Once they split, each held only half the formula. From brothers to rivals, Jay-Z and Dame Dash embodied both sides of entrepreneurship. Loyalty's emotional cost and leverage's strategic power. Roc-A-Fella Story isn't merely about hip-hop. It's about the complexities of money, trust, and the hard choices every entrepreneur eventually faces. Do you protect your people or protect your brand? Do you stay loud and loyal or quiet and strategic? Jay's decision elevated him to billionaire status. Dame's decision led to challenging lessons. And for the culture, it left a critical question still echoing today. How do we transform rejection into revolution without losing each other along the way? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and share. Also, let me know in the comment section future topics you'd like to hear about.